created 6 schools of thought known as Shat Darshan. What are those 6 schools of thought? What are those Shat Darshan? They are Sankhya, Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Yoga, Vedanta, and Mimamsa. All these 6 philosophies are composed of Sanskrit shlokas and are scripted by Indian rishis. The Patanjali's Yoga Darshan is one among them. Patanjali Yoga Darshan has 4 chapters. They are Samadhi Pad, Sadhan Pad, Vibhuti Pad, and Kaivalya Pad. YogasChitVritiNirodhah is the second shloka from the very first chapter, Samadhi Pad. What is the literal meaning of YogasChitVritiNirodhah? Sadhguru Dasan Devji Maharaj explains it in his book, Patanjali Yoga Darshan Bhash, where he has translated the true meaning of each shloka from the Patanjali Yoga Darshan. Swamiji explains what is the literal meaning of YogasChitVritiNirodhah. The detention of Vritis originating from Chitta is Yoga. Here we heard the 3 important terms: Chitta, Vriti, and Nirodh. Swamiji said detention of Vriti originating from Chitta is Yoga. But Patanjali Rishi has explained. So these 3 terms, Chitta, Vriti, and Nirodh, are very important to understand before we understand YogasChitVritiNirodhah. So what is Chitta? We already heard it beautifully from Dr. Hemant. Chitta is one of the 4 inner organs. What are they? They are Chitta, Man, Man is nothing but mind, Buddhi or intellect, Ahankar or ego. So the Chitta, intellect, mind, and ego. These are 4 inner organs. Chitta is one of them. When the consciousness of the soul associates with Prakriti, Chitta comes into action. It starts capturing every moment, every instant of the event or interaction that happens with the association of soul and Prakriti. The Chitta is the reservoir of karma, experience, sanskaras, tendencies, and everything that happens within the interaction between soul and Prakriti. Chitta is the reservoir. It stores everything. It captures everything. Like a camera captures the moment at the time it is clicked. What is Vritti? The Vritti is the servant of Chitta. Every bit of information, every moment spent in the association of Prakriti are captured in Chitta as Vritti. Every action that the soul takes is triggered by Vritti. The subjects that flow from Chitta and causes chit-chat in the mind is caused by Chitta's Vritti. Every bit of subject stored or invoked by Chitta are nothing but the Chitta's Vritti. Prakriti is composed of 3 fundamental attributes. What are they? They are Sat, Raj, and Tam. These 3 attributes of Prakriti are intermixed with very important line that we need to understand. Please listen it carefully. The interaction with a particular composition of these three attributes, that is, the composition of Sat, Raj and Tam, that interacts with the soul. That interaction decides the state of Chitta, the nature of Chitta's Vritti, and the course of action or karma. So, the kinds of Vrittis that is going to be invoked or going to be stored depends on the nature of the composition of Sattva, Raj and Tam. So that's about Vritti. Now what is Nirodh? What does the word Nirodh mean? With Sadguru Gyan, detention of these Vrittis, where they are neither created nor invoked, is the state of Nirodh. By the Nirodh of Chitta's Vritti, the doors to Prakriti in suffering are closed. According to Patanjali, yoga that aims to provide you the freedom from suffering is thus nothing but the detention of Chitta's Vritti. Let us now understand how many types of Vrittis are there. Patanjali ji has written, Vritiyah, Panchitayah, Klishta, Klishta. There are 5 types of Vrittis. Each one of them has 2 variants. They are either a Klisht or a Klisht type. The Vrittis that causes affliction, sorrow, grief are Klisht Vritti, and ones that bring joy, peace, or happiness are a Klisht Vritti. In other words, the experience, actions, thoughts, tendencies that arises in the state when the Prakriti is in the favor of the desires are a Klisht. And when Prakriti takes the U-turn and causes sufferings, every instance of association with Prakriti are stored as Klisht. Patanjali Rishi instructs to perform detention of Klisht and Aklisht, both variants of Vritti, to achieve yoga. What are those 5 types of Vrittis which have these 2 variants? They are Praman, Viparyay, Vikalp, Nidra, and Smriti. I repeat it. They are Praman, Viparyay, Vikalp, Nidra, and Smriti. These are the only 5 categories of Vrittis in which every action, every thought, every interaction are categorized into. Now let us try to understand Vrittis with a few examples. Sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. Attaining the experience of these 5 subjects are the Vrittis of Chitta. Hearing any external sound, hearing internal 5 universal sounds like Niranjan, Om, Soham, Shakti, and Rankar, or hearing 10 mystical sounds called Anhad are again Chitta's Vritti. The visualization of red, yellow, white, green, black, thin, fat, small, big, etc. and attachments to them are again Chitta's Vritti. The subjects appearing in the imagination through mind, the conclusions drawn by the intellect, and the experience of existence of the self forms the Vriti in Chitta. However, all of these fall under only 5 categories: Praman, Viparya, Vikalp, Nirodhah, and Vriti. What is Praman Vriti? Pratyaksha, Anuman, and Agam are the 3 types of Praman Vriti. When the sensory organs directly associate with the subject and acquire direct experience, the Vritti formed this way is Pratyaksha Praman. The indirect experience of the subject derived with the experience of Pratyaksha Praman forms the Anuman Praman. For example, existence of smoke indicates the existence of fire. Action indicates the existence of color, etc. These are the Pramanvriti. Finally, the decisions and conclusions passed on with the apt vachan or the proven words from realized yogi are Adam Praman. Thus, in nutshell, Pramanvriti reflects the truthful facts and experience. Now, what is Viparya? The false experience where the subject appears different than the facts are Viparya. We have heard a story of 4 blind who wants to meet an elephant. One blind person touches the tail of the elephant and thinks it's a thick rope. The other person touches the trunk of the elephant and thinks that it's a pillar. Such illusionary experience is Viparya. Now, what is Vikalpa? Any subject that are only in the words and do not have a physical existence is Vikalpa. For example, we can imagine anything. For example, red-colored yellow flower. Now you can only speak it, but you cannot visualize it. That what could be red-colored yellow flower? It's either red or yellow, but you cannot say red-colored yellow flower. So it's only in the word. You cannot have physical experience of that. Such kind of vrittis that are created and stored are the Vikalpa vritti. Now what is Nirodha vritti? Nirodha is a vritti which takes over when it interacts with the abundance of karma and covers all the experience and knowledge, causing the soul to become sleepy, senseless. In simple words, when you sleep, it is Nirodha vritti that is playing a role. But what is Vritti vritti? Remembering or reviving the subjects which are already stored in Chitta and that were created by mind, intellect, or sensory organs in the past, and that we are reviving or remembering now, is the form of Smriti vritti. Now let us understand how Chitta's Vriti Nirodhah happens. How do we achieve the detention of Vritti or Chitta? Sadguru Devi Maharaj explains the next shloka that Patanjali ji has written. Patanjali ji says, Abhyas Vairagdhyam Nirodhah. With complete detachment and the practice of yoga taught by Sadguru, one can achieve the detention of Chitta's vritti. So the Chitta's vritti can be detained only with the complete detachment and with the practice of yoga taught by Sadguru. The one who witnessed every interaction with Prakriti, the one who experiences everything, is the soul itself. When the soul holds its consciousness to the Prakriti, inspired by Chitta's vritti, it keeps itself shackled into the Prakriti forever and ever. And only when the soul adopts yoga abhyas, it reverses the flow of consciousness and detaches itself from the Chitta's Vritti. In such state of detachment, the soul experiences self and the Chitta's Vritti completely pacifies. Because the Chitta's Vritti will never pacify until the interaction with Prakriti is happening. And how the interaction happens? It happens when the soul flows its consciousness to the Prakriti. This is the sole reason why the soul experiences suffering. The suffering is all caused by the interaction with Prakriti. Patanjali wanted to explain the state of yoga which aims to relieve the soul from all suffering. And in that path of yoga, the very preliminary state that is achieved is the detachment of the consciousness of soul from the Chitta's Vritti. The moment it detaches from Chitta's Vritti, thus it's no more inspired by Chitta's Vritti and do not flow into Prakriti, the Chitta's Vritti automatically pacifies. And then the soul experiences the self-realization happens. According to the Patanjali's Yoga Darshan, that state of self-realization is yoga. Sadguru Sadasa Deji Maharaj makes it very clear that Atma Anubhuti, that means the self-experience, is definitely achieved only in the path of the same true yoga. But again, the yoga does not complete there. YogasChitVritiNirodhah is the beginning of that Chetan path, is the beginning of that path of consciousness. The Paramatma Prapti, or the realization of God, which is next to the realization of self, is yet to happen even after YogasChitVritiNirodhah culminates. Sadguru Dasaldevji Maharaj says that complete yoga happens only when the soul, after realizing the self, unites with the Supreme Soul, which is the omnipresent consciousness. And that happens with the ultimate stage of Vihangam Yoga. Happens at the fifth stage of Vihangam Yoga. Now to conclude the talk, I hereby appeal to all that we have learned is very divine. It's the same path of yoga that Patanjali is trying to indicate. And Sadguru Dasaldevji has revived for us to experience. Let us practice Vihangam Yoga Sadhana. Let us try to detain the Vritis and be self-guided and acquire the experience of the self and achieve the union with God. That is a good day.